Sai Alumnus, it's always a pleasure to connect back, and all the memories keep flooding back to me. Today's topic, as you have given me this poem which Swami wrote, Bhagwan Baba wrote it, so-called to the for the Western devotees. I'm God, I'm God, I'm no different from God. At the very outset, when I look at this poem and I read it, I feel it is actually a translation of our Adi Shankaracharya's Nirvanashtakam. I won't say translation, but in the same spirit. At the age of 6 or 8, Adi Shankara gave this great declaration when he was asked, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am Shivoham, Shivoham." But he also negated what I am not, and then he declared what he is. When I read this poem of Swami, and he gave it to the devotees and he said, you must meditate on it, you must contemplate on it, you must recite it, you must chant it. It's a very profound thing, and it requires like a lot of reaffirmation to ourselves for us to realize and live in that supreme awareness and consciousness that I am God. If I can summarize Bhagwan's whole life, if I can attempt to, if I can dare to, the first message and the last message, all the messages in between were only one, that you are God, I'm God, and we are here only to realize that we are God. There is nothing in this creation which is not a reflection, resound, and reaction of God. And this truth is very sweetly and simply mentioned in this poem. I feel sometimes people go like, we take it so literally, and we think that Bhagwan has asked us that we should now announce that I am God. The problem with the realization is one who knows does not speak, and one who speaks does not know. And one who knows and speaks is the ultimate. So if you look at the whole picture of I'm God concept, it is so fascinating for me, because on one hand, at least by His grace and by His mercy, we are in a position to comprehend in our whatever little way we can in our minds that we are God. Whatever little definitions or conceptualization we have created about God, at least with that little concept, we are able to relate and say that, look, everything around is that supreme consciousness, supreme reality, and that is what we call God. And we are also a spark, a part, an element of that. But on the other hand, the experience, the awareness, that oneness is still missing. And this journey to really enjoy that, to really be one with that concept, is life. And this prayer, when I read, I feel it is a very simple method of reinstating this basic truth that I am God. When I look at it from my professional schooling career, and I realize that we train our children to learn that they are human beings. And that's what Bhagwan taught us, a mind of man. And he said, at least start behaving like a man, human being. Don't behave like an animal. Learn to differentiate between mind of man and mind of an animal. And the more and more you differentiate and stick to the mind of man, you become more and more human being. And once you become human, you tend to move towards divine, and that is the game. And that is the beauty also. Because the more and more we start polishing our traits, our attributes, what we define as humans, we realize they are nothing but a small portion, a small element of the divine attributes. Our expression of love, care, smile, what you call Ashwaryam is like abundance, glory, grace. All this, what we are experiencing in our lives, is nothing but the other end of the spectrum. And the other end, on the another end of that same spectrum, is that supreme, infinite consciousness, the divine being. So we are also of the same material, but the quantity is different. Quality, the basic quality is same, but the quantity is different. And this is a journey that we have to keep reminding ourselves at every step. And when I do an act, to start with, is it a human act or an animal act? Am I doing with an intent of a human being, or am I doing it with an intent of an animal? Is it a reactive action, or is it an action which is based out of my conscious thinking and discrimination? If it is reaction, then I have slided down to the animalhood. And if it is thinking, if it has a discrimination, then I have moved on to becoming more of a human. So the more and more we start contemplating and being conscious of ourselves as a human being, we start living this life in fulfillment. But still, we cannot find fulfillment even if you live all of these thoughts every time perfectly. Because our fulfillment lies in knowing what is hidden behind this shape and form of a human. So God has not only come us to realize that we are not animals, we are humans. He has also come to realize, help us to realize that, hey, what you appear to be as human, you are not restricted to this form. There is something subtler, something hidden, something behind this apparent look of yours. So if you look like a human being and you act like a human being, that is also not an absolute truth. So what is that absolute truth? Is what is behind this body. So from rising us from the level of insects, animals to human, now the next leap of Bhagavan is when he says, I'm God. Pray, chant, think, meditate, contemplate, walk as if you are walking like a God. Talk as if you are God. Think as if you are God. Speak as if you are God. Fortunate are we who have this great privilege, a blessing, who have seen God walk on 2 feet, who have experienced His glory, who have seen, who have touched Him, who have spoken to Him, who have really experienced how He lived, how He talked, how He walked. Now it's a matter of imitating Him. But the imitation should never remain on the physical realm itself. Bhagavan once said, if you want to be my devotee, it is not enough that you follow me. What is the next step is that you have to live like me, be like me, talk like me, think like me. And that, I feel, is the key. And for that, the basic step is to think, to remind, to contemplate every second of our life that we are God. The way we teach our children that they are human child, so they cannot behave and they should not behave like animals. The way we remind ourselves that we are human beings, hence we need to use discrimination more than reaction. We need to contemplate before we can speak. We have to be more aware of ourselves. be conscious of our own actions and reactions, and not live on day-to-day basis, but live on the moment of truth. Similarly, we have to leap up now and remind ourselves that we are no longer humans. This is a form given to us. This is an appearance given to us. This is how we apparently look like. But now our struggle, our journey, our challenge, and our good fortune is to go behind this and realize who truly we are. What is that makes this hand move? What is that which makes this body grow? What is that which makes us talk? What is that which makes us fall in love? What is that which makes us give? What is that which makes us alive? And that, the factor of Shivoham, which Shankaracharya some 2000 years back reminded us, I am Shiva, Shivoham. Today Bhagavan in the modern context has given us in a very simple prayer, I am God, I am God, I am no different from God. I am the eternal, undifferentiated absolute. Grief and anxiety cannot touch me. I am always content. Fear cannot enter me. I am Satchidananda. I am pure existence, knowledge, and bliss. Isn't it beautiful? So the more and more we contemplate on it, the more we realize our true purpose of this life. That's why Bhagavan would say, you spend 90% of your effort in taking care of this body, entrapped into this, and sometimes even 100% energy goes for many into these things. And this is such a natural way of living that anybody who's born will go through this journey. Even animals do that. They are born, they get fed, they grow, they have children, and they die. So what is the difference between animals and humans? So our human journey is sanctified only and only if we realize that who we truly are. What is that this body is given us for? What is behind this body? And that is where this reminder is given to us. That wake up, O human being, realize the true purpose, the true message of this life. That you are not human, you are divine in the human body. And this journey certainly starts for somebody to differentiating them from animal, saying you are a human. Then from human, wake up again to realize you are God. That is why Bhagavan even said to us about, I mentioned this before, Bhagavan mentioned about the prayer Asatoma. I think I mentioned this somewhere. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. That's what we chant, and we all know the meaning of it. Oh Lord, take me from truth to untruth, darkness to light, and death to immortality. Bhagavan said this prayer is not for you. See, it's so beautiful. He said when you pray this way, then you are intent, you are subconsciously telling that, oh Lord, I am in darkness. Oh Lord, I am in untruth. Oh Lord, I am in ignorance. And if by being with me, by associating with me, by putting so much of effort on you, if you are still in darkness, then I can't help you. That means you don't believe me, and if you don't have faith in me, then there is nothing to talk. Then your journey is still hanging in the old bushes. Even when you have to realize that you are not plants and animals, you are different. So I cannot talk to you. Even after all these years, you must have that conviction to say that, no, I am not animal, I am not human, I am divine. And hence he says this prayer, Asatoma, is for masses, but not for people who have already been God-oriented, not for people who have been blessed with some beautiful gurus and teachers and the greatest of masters like Bhagwan Baba. When people like them bless us, then the expectation is that we rise above this mundane life and think something more. And Bhagwan gave us a new prayer at that time. He said, you must chant differently. And then he gave us a different prayer. And that prayer goes, Dvaitoma Advaityam Gamaya. Shoma Adrishyam Gamaya. Srishtorma Premam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the same meter it is written, but it means, O Lord, take me from Dvaityoma Advaityam Gamaya, from this dualistic world to the non-dualistic reality. Dvaityoma Advaityam Gamaya. Drishyoma Adrishyam Gamaya. O Lord, take me from this visible world to your invisible realm of reality. Drishyoma Adrishyam Gamaya. Srishtyorvam Premam Gamaya. O Lord, take me from this creative manifestation of yours to the subtlest and the origin of love. Look how beautiful it is. And he says, after being with God and having been blessed by gurus, you must pray like this, that, O Lord, take me from the visible world to the invisible world, from this creative manifestation to the world of love. May there be peace in all worlds. So if you connect all of these thoughts so beautifully, that Bhagavan has so benevolently, so magnanimously, so graciously given to us, for only one reminder that, oh humans, realize your true essence. This form is human, but in this form is divine. The real owner of this form is divine. And for that, he has given this prayer to us. But keep reminding, and more we say this, more and more we chant Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. One day, the attributes of Shiva will hit us. The more I say I'm God, I'm God, I'm God, the more and more the mind will start accepting that I am different. I am something more than what it appears. And hence, I can think, I can realize beyond, I can experience beyond. And for that reason, this prayer becomes very important for us. Unfortunately, some people take it too literally and they think that they have to announce it. So as I said before, please be remembering that when you say it, you lose it. And when you know it, you don't say it. See, all the realized souls, they're very quiet. Their work are measured, they're wasted. So this prayer is more of a contemplation, more of an internal meditation, more of internal chanting, a continuous reminder in ourselves how to live, how to talk, how to think, more importantly. So this prayer, I feel, is a really great blessing, and it's like given to us on a golden platter. That, hey humans, here it is, the secret of life, the truth, the beauty. I'm sure most of you must have heard him in a discourse also, when Bhagwan was talking to the students, and he said, wherever you go in the world, you are never away from me. For rightly said, because for him, the whole creation is his own being. So even if I travel from this part to this part or this part, it is still him, and he can easily feel me because I am nowhere different from him. And he so certainly and so beautifully puts it, and he says, my dear children, remember always, I and you are one. You are not different from me. I am you and you are mine. See, and then he says, ultimately, his sentence moves on to say that you and I are one. So that is, I think, the growth also he has shown us when he says, always have first the conviction that Sai is mine. See, when you have this conviction that God is mine, that is the basis foundation of self-confidence. With that confidence, we move forward and we hear the next sentence when God says, you are mine. When God says you are mine, that becomes surrender. Self-confidence merges into surrender, and then there is nothing left. And the third sentence happens that says, you and I are one. So if you look at it, it's in a very lovingly he said these three sentences, but I feel it has summarized the whole journey of ours. See, first we require that conviction to say, God, I'm yours, you are mine. That conviction that I want to invite God in my life, and that is what Bhagavan says, that take that one step. The one step is that when I invite God into my life. You may wonder, like, what is the need for an invitation when God is everywhere? Yes, but this is a life journey in which I play my role. I want to invite him. It's not invitation because he needs an invitation. It is because I want to be involved with God. So God says that is the only thing which I am expecting from you, is that your willingness to leave the world and come to me. It is your decision to think how much focus you want to give it to God. Otherwise, keep going in the world. Keep going in the cycle of life and death, life and death. Keep going. Keep entangled yourself in the world. That is up to you. Whether you choose those kind of joys or you want to choose the eternal happiness. That choice is ours. The longer we want to take, it's up to us. The shorter we want to take, that's up to us. So the God is waiting for just that one signal from us and saying, God, hey, I'm yours. I belong to you. When I say that I'm yours, and the God says, you are mine. So the first, that conviction that I am God's and I want God, that's all is required as a human effort. Then there is no need for any qualification. There is no need for anyone to say that, do I deserve God? Do I, have any credential to be with God? Do I have any qualification to be near him? All those things become immaterial. Because the moment I say, God, I need you, I want you, period. And that is a one step when he says, you say, God, you're mine. Then God says, you are mine, and that is surrender. So self-confidence leads to surrender, and that leads to oneness, the unity of God and me, and the God says, you and I are one. So, ekoham dutyor nasti, there is nobody different, there is no second to even worry about. And hence this beautiful journey of I am God. Look at it from Swami's perspective, and he reminds us in a very subtle way. And in fact, I think when he said that discourse and that statement, it was kind of a farewell for us. Many of us, batch was changing, boys were leaving. And that time, Bhagavan had made that contextual statement that wherever in the world you may go, you can never be away from me. I'm always with you. You are mine and I'm yours. And you and I are one. So that small little statement of Bhagavan, which looked very contextual at that moment, when we felt he was like a loving mother saying to us, but little contemplation on that sentence makes us realize That was actually a life lesson. That was actually reminding us that once we have accepted Lord, our journey is assured. There is nothing in this universe which can stop this journey. There is no hindrance which can come into our side. There is nobody who can change this beautiful, loving, divine romance with the Lord. And we are destined for this beautiful union with our divine. We are just fortunate that our Master himself chose us. Our Master himself led us. The Master himself has guided us in this beautiful journey of life. So if you really combine all of that, it's beautiful. I'm God, I'm no different than God. It's a chant, it's a mantra, it's a reminder, it's a message, it's a life breath. Sai Ram.
है सुना ये पूरी धरती तू चलाता है, मेरी भी सुन ले अरज मुझे घर बुलाता है। भगवान है कहाँ रे तू, है खुदा है कहाँ रे तू।
There's direct connection between you and Bhagavan.
మన సన్నిహిత సంబంధ బాంధవ్యం ఎవ్వరూ తెంచడానికి వీలు కాదు.
None can break this permanent, intimate, connecting link.
ఎక్కడికన్నా పోండి,
You may go
ఎక్కడ చూసిన ఒక్కడి సాయి మక్కువై ఉన్నాడు.
You may see here or there, anywhere, only one Sai is there.
ఏ గ్రామం పోయినా కూడాను, ఎక్కడ పోయి మీ ఉద్యోగం చేసినా మీ వెంటనే జంటనే ఇంటనే ఉంటారు.
You may go to any village, you may take up a job anywhere, but Bhagavan is always with you.
ఆ భావాన్ని మాత్రం మీరు భద్రంగా చేసుకోండి.
Treasure that feeling, that thought.
నా వెంటనే ఉన్నాడు,
Swami is with me.
అనేటువంటి భావాన్ని దృఢం చేసుకోండి.
Strengthen that thought more and
నువ్వు
more.
ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా నీ మీద వస్తుందని కదా.
Your shadow follows you wherever you go.
నీడనే,
Bhagavan is your shadow.
నాట్ షాడో, నీలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక దీన్ని నిరూపిస్తుంది.
Not merely shadow, he is indweller, he is in you.
కనుక I am you.
Oh, Swami says, I am you and you are mine.
मौला तू है मेरे साथ।